And you always knew the bad news was coming with Todd, because he'd go, here's the thing. And he said, we're going to lose the orchestra in Dresden, and we have to do all of the conducting first. I do think there's a distinct lack of shame in society. And I think shame is very different to guilt. Guilt is very useless.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' pattern of allegedly bullying colleagues in Hollywood didn't begin, and likely won't end, with the Justin Baldoni situation. And now, Cate Blanchett is breaking her silence in a scorching new interview that's turning heads. When someone as respected and reserved as Cate Blanchett has a story to share about Blake and Ryan, you know it's far worse than anyone imagined. Blake didn't just try to hijack Cate's legacy. She allegedly stole it outright, then dismissed Cate when confronted. But true to form, Cate didn't lash out or make a public scene. Instead, she quietly orchestrated a calm but calculated response that's being described as nothing short of poetic justice. Now, it looks like Cate may be the one to finally hold Blake and Ryan accountable, and possibly bring their long-running behavior into the spotlight once and for all.
You know, it's sometimes good to be really simple. I mean, Matisse says this fantastic thing. It's just, don't try and be original. Just be simple.
Anyone who knows Cate Blanchett knows that she and Chanel have always been a perfect match, like peanut butter and jam. For over a decade, Cate has been the face of the brand, and the partnership has flourished. She's not just a Hollywood actress. She represents elegance, legacy, and timeless sophistication, qualities that perfectly align with Chanel's image. Over the years, Cate has been a regular at Chanel's private fittings and couture shows. In 2021, she signed a multi-season contract to headline Chanel's Women in Cinema campaign. As part of that initiative, Chanel commissioned a legacy short film written by Cate's husband, Andrew Upton. It was a minimalist black and white piece. 2 women, no dialogue, just pure storytelling through expression and movement. The contracts were signed. The film was approved. Everything was in place. But when the big day finally arrived and the spotlight was ready for Cate, Blake Lively showed up instead. It wasn't a mix-up. It was a stunning replacement that left everyone wondering what happened behind the scenes.
Right, Blake Lively is out and about in the UK promoting her One Simple Favor, right? Is that the name? Yep, she's out. She's wearing this Chanel head-to-toe V. Here's the look in the runway.
Fans were left completely confused. What was Blake doing there? What happened to Cate? Did the deal fall apart? As it turns out, there wasn't any falling out between Cate and Chanel. No drama. No disagreement. Blake's sudden appearance as the new face of the campaign was the result of what many believe was calculated sabotage. Reportedly, someone from Chanel contacted Cate's team, saying the campaign's direction had shifted. Industry speak for "you're out." The news blindsided Cate, especially since there had been no conflict or warning signs. Everything started to click when Blake was suddenly unveiled as the new face of the campaign. Even worse, Chanel didn't even bother to scrap the original concept designed around Cate. Instead, they kept the structure, threw in some glitter, tacked on a few feel-good quotes, added red lipstick, and called it a day.
Oh, no, they're so look at these. They match my outfit. Look at those nails. Wow. Aren't they incredible? Those are amazing. I had time for that. I literally did it while it worked. It was a little chaotic. It was worth it.
Even the backstage crew working on the campaign were stunned when news broke that Cate had been replaced. One stylist reportedly leaked text messages revealing that Blake was never supposed to be part of the original plan. Her team had pitched Chanel a lucrative cross-platform deal that was too tempting to pass up, but yanking Cate out of the spotlight like that? It was bold, maybe too bold, but that was just the beginning. After securing the campaign, Blake and her team allegedly launched an entire strategy to reposition Cate as outdated, while framing Blake as the fresh new face swooping in to save Chanel from fading relevance. In March 2023, Chanel hosted a private dinner in Paris, a high-profile event with a hand-picked guest list of legacy actresses, directors, creatives, and brand partners. Cate had RSVP'd months in advance and was set to premiere her husband Andrew Upton's short film during the evening. Then, just 2 weeks before the dinner, Chanel announced that Blake Lively would be honored that night as the face of their new campaign. Kate's short film? Quietly scrapped, replaced by Blake's theme. Cross-platform storytelling through beauty, film, and wellness. Surprisingly, Cate didn't cancel. She attended the dinner with her head held high. Things were going smoothly, until Blake made sure the night took a different turn. According to an insider, Blake was seated at another table with a senior Chanel creative when she was overheard saying, "I just feel like I could bring something fresh to it." That script was beautiful, but kind of outdated, right? The creative laughed and replied, "You mean Andrew's script? I didn't even realize he wrote it until later." But I mean, legacy doesn't really sell to Gen Z. Unluckily for them, Cate was seated just a few feet away and overheard the entire exchange. She didn't confront anyone, but insiders said her expression changed completely, and she looked quietly heartbroken for the rest of the night. Then came the next twist. In April 2023, the first wave of Blake's Chanel x Netflix crossover campaign launched, but a major PR oversight blew things wide open. Apparently, Chanel's team had forgotten to cancel a feature article that had been greenlit back when Cate was still the face of the campaign. The piece, published in a British fashion magazine on April 16th, included multiple references to Andrew Upton's short film and Cate's creative involvement. The article was live for only 3 hours before it was pulled, but not before screenshots circulated online. Social media erupted. Fans accused Blake of stealing Cate's work and erasing her contribution to the campaign. The backlash came fast and fierce. Cate never publicly addressed the drama, but weeks later, she accepted a quiet humanitarian award in Berlin. An attendee recorded her acceptance speech, and although the clip was later taken down, one line from Cate echoed across the internet. "There's a difference between honoring a story and owning it like it was always yours. One builds legacy. The other builds ego." Fans immediately interpreted it as a veiled but unmistakable dig at Blake. Meanwhile, things only got worse for Blake. Her PR team, known for being aggressively defensive, allegedly underestimated how fiercely loyal Cate's fanbase truly was. The campaign, which was meant to rebrand Blake as a serious creative force, started unraveling quickly. A scheduled appearance on a popular YouTube fashion talk show was abruptly canceled. Officially, it was due to scheduling conflicts, but insiders said otherwise. According to one leak, behind-the-scenes footage showed the host rehearsing a pointed intro that included a question about the Cate Blanchett controversy and what really happened with the original campaign. Pulling the appearance was seen as a last-minute move to avoid another PR disaster, but the damage was already done. By this point, Blake's carefully curated image was taking hit after hit. What had started as a sleek rebrand was now being picked apart by media outlets and fans alike, many calling her the villain of the story. Cate, on the other hand, didn't retreat into silence or bitterness. She didn't launch a smear campaign or play the victim. Instead, she simply moved on, gracefully and professionally, keeping to her schedule and showing the same quiet strength she always had. While Blake's campaign crumbled under the weight of controversy and missteps, Cate reminded everyone why she has remained an enduring icon, not just for her talent, but for the integrity she brings to every room, even the ones where she's been wrong.
About much. And the more I do in a way, I think the less I know. And I've had a very eclectic and strange career that has taken me many places. But perhaps if there's any connective tissue in my career, it's the desire to know. It's the quest to unlock what it means to be human, that strange nub of fearful, joyful uncertainty that it is to be a human being. To live a creative life, it's fueled with uncertainty and doubt. It's the DNA of how you begin any project. You have to humble yourself and say, I don't know, and I'm here to find out.
In June 2023, Cate and her husband Andrew quietly premiered a 2-person play at the Sydney Theatre Company. Written entirely by Andrew and directed by Cate, the production wasn't meant to be a flashy comeback after the Chanel fallout. There was no major PR push, no red carpet, just a small, intimate event attended mostly by theater lovers and film enthusiasts. Interestingly, the original title of the play was reportedly lines that weren't meant to be read, but it was later changed to the credit. Many believe the new title was a subtle jab at Blake Lively, who allegedly took credit for Cate's work and sidelined her professionally, whether intentional or not. The play's name felt like a quiet but pointed message, and Cate didn't need a media circus to make it heard.
Well, I always approach every role as a woman because I am. I don't really think about that. I do think there's a distinct lack of shame in society at the moment. I think shame is very different to guilt. Guilt is a very useless emotion. I don't know what you do with that. But shame and regret and the lessons one can learn from that I think are very powerful.
Cate handled the Blake and Chanel situation with a level of grace that many actresses either don't have or simply can't afford. It was shocking to many that Blake had allegedly tried to bully and silence Cate, especially in such a public and petty way. But what most people didn't realize at the time was that Cate wasn't the first, or only, actor Blake had treated this way. Blake reportedly has a long-standing pattern of bullying co-stars and crew members, especially when she feels threatened by their spotlight. When someone else was getting attention, she allegedly found subtle and not so subtle ways to undermine them. One common tactic? Making inappropriate or off-putting jokes that left others uncomfortable. And when people didn't laugh, she'd accuse them of being too uptight or mean. A resurfaced interview clip highlights this behavior perfectly. In it, Blake makes a cringeworthy joke about Leighton Meester being born in prison, while also comparing her other co-stars to monkeys in a cage. Fans were stunned, not just by the joke, but by how visibly uncomfortable everyone looked. While Blake and Leighton played best friends on Gossip Girl, their real-life relationship, it seems, was anything but friendly.
There's an article recently saying that Leighton and I were frenemies. And it's
frenemies. Is that the new term? Frenemies?
Yeah, we're friends, but we're also enemies. And it's really strange because they always want to pit women against each other. You don't hear about like Penn and Chase hating each other and being jealous and competitive.
2 seconds later.
I think I'm just brunette because of the books.
And everyone knows blondes are nicer anyway. A moment by me.
Remember Savannah.
It was another promise was no pet monkey. Yeah. Chuck has a matching pet monkey with coordinating outfits, and I was like, I would love to be part of the show, but I can't act with a monkey. And then I got a few of them. Come on, it was a joke. Lord have mercy.
Your wardrobe? That is important. Very good.
It's very important.
This is wardrobe.
This is wardrobe. This was on the return rack. I think it was hers. So I had to go and slip them cash to wear it today.
It was a terrible, borderline mean joke, and you could tell by the co-stars' body language. They were not amused. Still, as usual, they brushed it off as just Blake being Blake and moved on. But behind the scenes, things weren't so easy to ignore. Blake allegedly spent years picking on Leighton Meester during their time filming Gossip Girl. In 2017, executive producer Joshua Safran finally spilled some tea. While he tried to downplay the tension, chalking it up to different personalities, fans weren't buying it once the interview clip went viral. Suddenly, the narrative of Blake as just a quirky, fun girl didn't seem so believable. Then came Armie Hammer's revelation. He didn't hold back when asked about Blake during an interview with Andy Cohen. According to him, she acted like a full-blown diva on set. Everything had to be done her way, and even the smallest inconvenience could trigger a meltdown. While Armie kept things polite, you could feel the weight of what he wasn't saying. He eventually admitted Blake's behavior was one of the key reasons he left the show. The experience, he hinted, left him genuinely shaken, and fans noticed.
It starts with us, so I'm hoping to see you back in the double duty role.
I think there are better people for that one.
Justin.
I think Blake Lively's ready to direct. That's what I think.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
Justin said he doesn't know if he'd be game to direct the next one, but perhaps Blake would. Is that something that you would entertain?
Oh, absolutely. I think that whoever decides to take charge of the next one would do it justice. But, it's a lot of people to get the same schedules together again, so we'll see.
Oh, absolutely. She's so capable of that. She is a powerhouse. She could do literally...
Oh, and don't even get me started on the rumors surrounding Blake's behind-the-scenes behavior. Word is, when she doesn't like a certain actor, she goes out of her way to make sure everyone else on set has a problem with them too. Ever wonder why Penn Badgley had such a rough start on the Gossip Girl set? Allegedly, Blake told the directors and fellow cast members from day one that Penn was difficult to work with and not worth getting close to. As a result, it took weeks before he could finally break the ice. But once the rest of the cast gave him a chance, they realized he was nothing like Blake had made him out to be. So, when Justin Baldoni came forward claiming Blake tried to push him out of the director's chair, people were shocked, but not surprised. Reports say she didn't just try to steal the spotlight. She allegedly rewrote scenes without his permission, and when he refused to use her changes, she'd threaten him, hinting she'd unleash her dragons. Bestie Taylor Swift and husband Ryan Reynolds talk about playing dirty behind the scenes. In Toro 9. But that's not all. Allegedly, Blake went behind Justin's back to personally lobby Colleen Hoover for the chance to direct the next installment of the film series. This happened before any lawsuits had even been filed. According to Justin's contract, he has the exclusive right to direct and produce every part of the movie. However, there's a crucial clause. If Justin becomes involved in any morally compromising scandal, such as an SA allegation, he automatically loses all rights to the project. That means he's out, permanently. The fact that Blake was already trying to get Colleen on her side to become the next director raises some serious red flags. When you connect the dots, it starts to look pretty shady. Meanwhile, Cate Blanchett didn't back down. She stood firm and refused to let herself be sidelined, especially by someone like Blake. Cate wasn't about to let industry politics push her out of the picture. But what do you think? Should Cate have handled things differently? And could this really be the beginning of the end for Blake's career? Let us know in the comments, and stick around for the next jaw-dropping story.